Hi, welcome to another edition of Mindfulness for Athlete podcast, brought to you by MW Sports Psychology Consultant Group. My name is Mike Waller, a clinical professional counselor as well as a certified sports psychologist. Today, we want to talk about NIL. NIL means simply short for name, image, and likeness. This is an opportunity for college students as well as some high school, but more so college students get an opportunity to make money through endorsement, commercial, etc. while they are in college. But before I go there, let me share with you what the mission of Mindfulness for Athlete podcast is. The mission and the purpose of the Mindfulness for Athlete podcast is simply to focus on athlete and providing mental and psychological services to athletes that will increase and improve their overall performances, skills, and ability, and also assist them to work through their emotional distress and maladaptive behavior patterns by altering or correcting errors in their respective thought, perception, and belief. So again, we're going to talk to you about NIL, how it has become into existence, how long it has been in existence, and lastly, some of the current athletes that some of them have gone on to the professional league and some are still in college, where they are seriously raking in millions of dollars in endorsement, whether it be through branding, whether it be through a commercial or etc. But it is a big thing, and I would say as a former college athlete that it is long overdue, because one of the things is that college athletes who have played, for example, football for 4 years and who are not successful in going into college, the pros, they are basically left behind. They have made this college that they have attended a million, in some instances, billions of dollars, because it is definitely a billion-dollar industry, especially through their contract with the TV stations, etc. Billion-dollar business. And who end up losing? It is the college, that athlete who played that respective sport. So the NCAA, along with other concerned people from the sports world, came to a conclusion after meeting after meeting after meeting that we have to come up with ways in order to help these athletes, especially if they're not successful in their endeavor and going into the pro league, because there are only so many professional athletes in the total sports world. And the last time I checked, there were just a little over 1,200 athletes in all of your major professional sports. So your chances of becoming a professional athlete is almost slim to none. You have a better chance to go into law school, med school, becoming a psychiatrist, psychologist, or even someone like myself, a mental health counselor, as opposed to becoming a professional athlete. So again, like I said, the NCAA, along with concerned business people, citizens, etc., came up with the NIL concept, which has probably been on the way for the last, I would say, anywhere from 5 to 10 years. And as a result, again, a lot, athletes are benefiting from this. In short, NIL stand for, I repeat, name, image, and likeness. Basically, a student athlete being able to sign NIL deal means they are able to enter into contract to endorse products and make money off their personal brand. That brand can vary from, like I said, their name or services they are providing, or being unique and creating a name. It could be a shoe, it could be even in a case relative to tennis, a racket along those lines. But again, your brand is what is going to help you to make that kind of money as an athlete. They can do commercials for TV, post branded ads, whether it be on the social outlet or on TV media channels or whatever companies they choose to work with. It's what professional athletes have been doing for decades. And again, like I said, being a former athlete, I wish those opportunities would have been available when I played tennis, that maybe, some of us who were good would have gone on and really, competed at a much higher level as far as being able to get endorsement and monies and all, because those of us who didn't go on to play, at a higher level of professional, even though I did play at somewhat of a semi-professional level, but it would have been nice to have been compensated, because again, a lot of these collegiate colleges and universities make billions of dollars making this, So again, NIL allow college students and some high school students to benefit or be compensated. And it could come from a variety of sources. And those sources, again, is by promoting the products in exchange for payment with that company. Another avenue is social media. Post their social media, that is a big thing, whether it be on TikTok, whether it be on Instagram, X, etc. All these social media, you are finding ways, people, athletes in particular, are finding ways where they can advertise and get their branding or get their word out or their name, because, the old saying is your name could be worth millions, and now later on with college athlete, they are finding that their name is actually worth something while they're alive as opposed to when they are no longer around. Sponsor services. They can promote the type of services that they are working with this company in exchange for funds, or even highlighting their career to assist them to go along in the event, again, if they don't go into pros, you can still have an avenue in order to make money. Another way is what they call brand ambassador. That way, an athlete can become an ambassador for the brand or that business. I've seen a number of commercials where they advertise in different athletes, and so a part of that athlete becoming connected, associated with that business, they are in essence becoming a brand. And lastly, through commercials. I am seeing, for example, Caitlin Clark, before she became a phenom in the WNBA now, she has been successful and been advertised, marketed, etc. And it just so happened while she was in college, she did quite well when she played for Iowa. She, in essence, generated endorsement exceeding more than $3 million. Can you imagine, as a college student now, that you can make up to $3 or $4, $5 million, and you still, getting on? I don't know for certain if you're still eligible to get your scholarship now, but I would think not, because there'd probably be a conflict that you're making that kind of money and the school is paying your scholarship. I doubt that you would, And lastly, one of the things that I found while doing my research on NIL, I came across what are some of the highest NIL deals that are out there, and who are some of the highest NIL earners. Number one at the top of the list, as of March 16, which was earlier, I don't know if it's still, but now that he's in the NBA, he's no longer eligible for NIL. That is LeBron James' son. When he was at USC, even though he had a heart attack, etc., he still was able to amass over $4.9 million. Can you imagine? I mean, your father's already a billionaire, and you coming along, first year out of high school, and your endorsement and commercials, etc., will allow you to able to get $4.9 million. Next is Shedeur Sanders from Colorado, $4.7 million. And the reason, with him, And I can believe that he made every bit of that because he was going around, he went out and purchased, I can't remember, it was a Bentley or some car of that caliber for over $250,000. He's walking around the college university wearing a watch exceeding over $100,000. I mean, how lucky can you get? Because in this day and time when people seeing you wearing that kind of stuff, you're subject to being robbed or what have you. There's a gymnast by the name of Levy Doon, $3.6 million. Caitlin Clark, when she was at Iowa, $3.1 million. And lastly, Arch Manning of the Manning family played for Texas, $2.8 million. From 4.9 to $2.8 million is what these 5 athletes, the highest in the NIL. So as a result of that, you're having a lot of college and some even high school players are becoming eligible for NIL endorsement. And the last thing I want to say on this subject is now that NIL is becoming a big business, you're having people starting companies. Some are legitimate and some are under suspicion. And what I mean by suspicion is that they can be accused of predatory practices, And what that is, what I mean by predatory is that these young students, these young college students and high school students are being given advances on their monies, potential monies that they have not earned yet. And as a result, for example, if an athlete gets, say, $30,000, and while he or she is waiting for that $30,000, a predatory company comes along and say, well, I will advance you 10,000 of that. And when you get your money back, when you get that deal, you sign that contract and you get your paycheck, I get my 10,000 back in addition to the high interest rate. Here in Nevada, we have a no usury law, which you can charge whatever interest rate that you want to charge. But in most cases, I've seen it as high as 36%. So 36% on $10,000 is a nice piece of change, what have you. And so if you're not mindful, and if you're not skillful and aware that you can be hustled, if you will, by these predatory companies, as far as offering you these different types of monies and what have you, you will be taken. And in the end, who loses? The athlete does. So my point is, or my message is simple, before you even enter into any of these types of deals with anyone, consult with your attorney and your accountant. Consult with them because you never know what you're entering, because it could always be too late. Because once you put pen to paper, sign that ink on that contract, you are subject to that. And the only way you can get out of it is by a lawsuit. And so if you do not read the fine print in that contract or those letters, black and white, and you offer your signature, it's a done deal. So be mindful of that. So again, I brought to you illustration, a discussion on NIL and what it's all about and how to be mindful and careful. Because not only you're looking at the legal and the financial part of it, but the mental part, because if you're not careful, you're going to undergo some financial stress, some anxiety, and in some cases, if you're hurt, you can be traumatized by that experience. So again, Mindfulness for Athlete podcast, our purpose is to focus on providing mental and psychological service to athletes and improving and increasing their overall skills and ability. Therefore, they will not be subject, in this case, to NIL, where you are being taken by a predatory lender who's in it to make money for themselves, and you the one end up losing. Brought to you by MW Sports Psychology Consulting Group. Again, my name is Mike Waller. certified sports psychologist along with clinical professor and counselor. Look forward to talking to you again soon.